The fence that wasn't there, the wind moves first. It slides across the Texas plains in a low, whispering breath, carrying dust, hay, and something sweet, dry grass warmed by sun. It is not the cold, metallic wind of Europe. It does not smell of burned brick or wet ash. It smells alive. They stand in a line, boots sinking slightly into red soil, hands stiff at their sides, German women, prisoners of war. Their coats are too heavy for this heat, wool darkened with sweat. Their hair is braided tight or hacked short, regulation cuts that do little to hide trembling necks. No fence, that is the first shock. Anna Vogel notices it before anything else. Her eyes move instinctively, searching for wire, for towers, for rifles pointed down from above. There is nothing, only a wide sky, impossibly blue, stretching so far it hurts to look at it. She presses her tongue against the roof of her mouth, tasting dust and fear. This is wrong, she thinks. Camps have fences. Beside her, Greta Hoffman whispers, barely sound at all, "Where are the guards?" Anna does not answer. She is watching a farmhouse in the distance. White, painted wood, a porch wrapped around it like open arms. A windmill creaks slowly behind it. Somewhere a cow lows, a cow, not artillery, not sirens. A cow, their escort stops walking. The American soldiers do not shout. No one barks orders. One of them, a boy with freckles and a hat pushed back on his head, removes his gloves and wipes his hands on his trousers like he is nervous. The women exchange glances. Suspicion ripples through them, sharp and fast. This must be a trick. Anna remembers the posters back home. The thick black lines, the monstrous American caricatures with animal teeth and greedy eyes. They will humiliate you, they will use you, they will break you. Her stomach twists. She clutches the small cloth pouch hidden beneath her coat. Inside is a broken pencil and 3 folded pages. Her diary, thin as onion skin. It is the only thing she kept when surrender came, when their unit collapsed like wet paper. A voice speaks in accented German, "You will be working here." The words fall gently, like an offering. Anna flinches anyway. The American officer gestures toward the farmhouse. "Ranch families, you help, cooking, cleaning, animals." Greta swallows hard. Living there, yes. No one breathes, living there, not behind wire, not in barracks, not in concrete pens. Anna's heart pounds so loudly she is certain everyone can hear it. A woman steps out onto the porch. She is not wearing a uniform. She is wearing a faded blue dress, sleeves rolled up, flour on her hands. Her hair is pinned loosely, escaping at the temples. She squints into the sun, shielding her eyes, and then, astonishingly, she smiles. Not a thin smile, not a cruel one, a real one. Anna's knees threaten to buckle. This is wrong, this is impossible, this is more frightening than cruelty. Why is she smiling? Anna thinks. What does she want from us? The American officer clears his throat. "Mrs. Caldwell," he calls. "These are the women I told you about." Mrs. Caldwell steps down from the porch, boots crunching softly in the dirt. She stops a few feet away, close enough that Anna can smell soap and bread on her skin. Bread, warm bread. Mrs. Caldwell looks at their faces, at hollow cheeks, cracked lips, eyes too old for their years. Something flickers across her expression. Pity, calculation. Anna braces herself. Instead, the woman says, slowly, carefully, as if choosing each word, "You must be tired." The sentence lands like a blow. Tired, not enemy, not Nazi, not prisoner, tired. Greta's shoulders begin to shake. She clamps her mouth shut, but the sound escapes anyway. A thin, broken sob. Anna stares at the ground. She cannot let them see weakness. Weakness is dangerous, but her hands are shaking. Mrs. Caldwell gestures toward the house. There's water inside, cool water, cool. Anna's throat tightens painfully. She remembers Berlin, the long lines, the tin cups, the taste of rust. She remembers boiling water that never quite lost the flavor of smoke. She forces herself to step forward. Every instinct screams that this kindness is bait. But her feet move anyway. As they walk toward the house, Anna notices details she cannot stop noticing. The screen door swinging gently, the clean glass windows, the sound of laughter, children's laughter, from somewhere inside. Children, her chest aches. She thinks of her sister, Lot, last seen clutching a doll made of rags. She thinks of the last letter from home, the words pressed too close together to save paper. We eat turnips again. Do not worry about us, we love you. The screen door opens, cool air spills out, scented with coffee and something buttery. Anna crosses the threshold, no one touches her, no one shouts. The greatest terror blooms quietly in her chest, slow and deep. If this is the enemy, she thinks, then everything we were told is breaking apart. Behind her, the door swings shut, not locking them in, but closing gently, like the end of a chapter. And Anna realizes, with a cold clarity that makes her dizzy, the war has followed her here, but it has changed its shape. Across water, away from what we were. The ship smells of iron, oil, and bodies that have learned to be silent. Anna stands below deck, one hand gripping a pipe slick with condensation, the other pressed flat against her stomach as the ocean lifts and drops beneath her. Each wave seems determined to shake loose what remains of her certainty. The Atlantic does not roar the way she imagined. It breathes, slow, immense, indifferent. Around her the women sway in unison like stalks of wheat in a wind they cannot see. No one speaks. They have learned that words cost energy, and energy is precious. The guards, Americans, are above deck. Their footsteps thud faintly overhead, boots confident, unhurried. No screams, no blows. That too is unsettling. Greta leans close, her breath warm against Anna's ear. My mother said Americans eat meat every day. Anna snorts softly despite herself. Lies. That's what they want you to think, Greta whispers, so you surrender. Anna does not answer. She is remembering the lectures, the radio broadcasts crackling through bombed-out apartments. The certainty in the voices, the way doubt was described as weakness, curiosity as betrayal. She had believed them, not fiercely, not blindly, but enough to enlist as a nurse, enough to stay when others ran, enough to be here now, crossing an ocean she never thought she would see. At night, the ship groans like an old animal. Anna lies on her bunk, staring at the underside of the deck above her. She traces imaginary cracks with her eyes, mapping them like roads. Sleep comes in pieces, dreams come whole. She dreams of home, of Berlin streets reduced to ribs and teeth, of her father standing in a doorway that no longer exists, asking why she left, of Lot holding out her hands, palms empty. When she wakes, her cheeks are wet. She does not wipe them. On the third day, a guard hands her something wrapped in paper. Eat. The word is flat, unremarkable. Inside is a sandwich, thick bread, real bread. A slice of meat folded generously, fat gleaming at the edges. There is even mustard, sharp and yellow. Anna stares at it as if it might explode. Her first instinct is refusal. Suspicion coils tight in her chest. Poison, a voice whispers, experiment, punishment. She breaks off a corner of bread and touches it to her tongue. Nothing happens. She takes another bite. Chews slowly, the taste blooms. Salt, warmth, substance. Her jaw aches with the effort. Across from her, Greta is crying openly now, tears dripping onto her hands as she eats. This isn't possible. Greta murmurs between bites. They don't have this much food. Anna chews. Swallows, her stomach twists, not from hunger but from something darker. If they have this, she thinks, then what do we fight for? That night, she writes in her diary, pencil shaking with the motion of the ship. Day unknown. The sea is endless. They feed us like people. I am waiting for the cost. Days blur together. The horizon appears and disappears, a thin promise that never quite arrives. The women talk in fragments now, sharing rumors like contraband. They say America was never bombed. They say their cities still have lights at night. They say the farms are bigger than villages. Each sentence lands heavily, pulling at the fabric of belief Anna has worn all her life. When land finally comes, it is not dramatic, no fanfare, just a dark line rising from the water, growing solid, undeniable. America. The word feels strange in her mouth, like a borrowed coat. They are herded onto trains that smell of coal and sun-warmed wood. The landscape unfolds endlessly outside the windows. Fields, towns, rivers that glitter like spilled glass. Nothing is broken, no craters, no skeletal buildings, no children with hollow eyes. Anna presses her forehead to the glass, leaving a foggy imprint. "How can it look like this?" she whispers. Greta answers, voice flat, "Because the war never came here." The train rattles on, mile after mile of intact world. At stops, civilians watch them from platforms, some curious, some wary, some indifferent. A boy waves, a woman pulls him back, not unkindly, just cautious. Anna feels exposed in her uniform, the eagle insignia suddenly heavy, obscene. She folds her arms tightly across her chest. By the time the train gives way to trucks, and the trucks to open land, exhaustion has seeped into her bones. She no longer expects cruelty. That realization frightens her more than fear ever did. As the Texas plains stretch out before them, flat, vast, unapologetically, Anna feels something loosen inside her. Not hope, not yet. Something more dangerous, expectation. She writes one last line before closing her diary as the truck slows. If they wanted to break us, they would not do it like this. The engine cuts, the wind greets them, and the fences never appear. The weight of soap. The first thing Anna notices is the quiet. Not the nervous quiet of waiting rooms or ruins, but a living quiet, punctured by insects, by wind combing through grass, by the far-off lowing of cattle. The truck's engine dies, and the sound seems to sink into the earth rather than echo. She steps down, boots hitting ground that is warm, dry, real. This is not a camp. This is a ranch. The farmhouse stands solid and unashamed beneath the sun, white paint slightly chipped, curtains moving gently behind glass. No guard towers, no barbed wire, just a porch, a rocking chair, a dog sleeping in the shade. A dog. It lifts its head as they approach, tail thumping once against the wood. No barking, no teeth. Greta's hand finds Anna's sleeve, fingers digging in. "This is wrong," she whispers again, as if repetition might make it safer. Mrs. Caldwell waits at the bottom of the porch steps. Her husband stands a little behind her, hat in hand, face weathered like old leather. He looks at the women not as captives, but as a problem he has already decided to solve carefully. "You'll stay in the guest room," Mrs. Caldwell says. "There's space. Clean sheets. Clean sheets." The words strike Anna with physical force. Inside, the house smells of coffee, soap, and something sweet baking. The floorboards creak softly under their steps, a sound so domestic it makes Anna's throat tighten painfully. Mrs. Caldwell leads them to a small bathroom. "There's water," she says, turning a handle. The faucet coughs, then releases a stream so clear and strong Anna flinches back. It splashes into the basin, bright and alive, hot water. Anna stares. At home, water was rationed. Cold, gray, often gone. Mrs. Caldwell places something in Anna's hand. Soap. It is thick, white, heavy, smelling faintly of flowers. Anna's fingers curl around it reflexively. The smoothness shocks her skin. She presses it lightly with her thumb, leaving a small dent. Soap like this was a luxury before the war. Now it feels like an accusation. "You can wash," Mrs. Caldwell says gently. "You must be tired from the road." Tired. Always that word. When the door closes behind her, Anna stands alone, staring at her reflection. Her face looks foreign in the mirror, too thin, eyes too large, hair dull with travel and fear. She undresses slowly. As the water hits her skin, she gasps. It is hot. Too hot at first. And she fumbles to adjust it, hands clumsy. Steam rises, wrapping the room in fog. She lifts the soap. The scent blooms instantly, floral and clean, nothing like the harsh grey blocks from home that barely lathered. She rubs it between her palms, watching bubbles form. Her hands begin to shake. She presses them against her mouth, stifling a sound that might become something dangerous. In her diary later, she will write, "I cried because the soap was kind." The meal comes next. They sit at a wooden table scarred by years of use. Plates are placed in front of them, real plates, not tin. The food is simple, roast chicken, potatoes swimming in butter, bread still warm. Anna's stomach knots painfully. "This is too much," Greta whispers. "We can't eat this." Mrs. Caldwell smiles, not unkindly. "You can. Please, please." Anna cuts a piece of chicken. her knife steady by habit rather than calm. The meat is tender, juices running clear. She hesitates only a second before lifting it to her mouth. The taste is overwhelming. Fat, salt, heat. Her eyes burn. Around the table, silence reigns, broken only by chewing and the clink of cutlery. No one rushes them, no one counts bites. Mr. Caldwell clears his throat. You'll help with the chickens tomorrow, and the garden fares fair. Fair, Anna nods, swallowing hard. Afterward, they are shown their room. 2 beds, quilts folded neatly at the foot, a window that opens. Greta touches the quilt reverently. My grandmother had one like this. Anna sits on the bed, the mattress soft beneath her weight. She feels suddenly, acutely, like she might fall through it into something she cannot control. That night, she writes by moonlight, pencil scratching softly. They give us soap, they give us food, they give us beds. I keep waiting for the moment when the truth shows itself. Outside, crickets sing. No sirens, no guns. Anna stares at the ceiling, listening to Greta's breathing slow into sleep. She thinks of Berlin, of rubble, of hunger, and she wonders, with a fear sharper than any she has known, if this is real, what does it mean about us? The house settles around them, wood contracting, a living thing at rest. Anna does not sleep. She holds the soap in her hand, its scent filling the dark, and somewhere deep inside, something begins to fracture. Abundance of morning arrives without warning. No whistle, no shouted orders, just light, slipping through the thin curtains, touching Anna's face with a gentleness that feels undeserved. For a moment, disorientation grips her. Then memory floods back, and her chest tightens. America, the quilt is warm, too warm. She throws it back, half expecting reprimand, but the room remains quiet. In the kitchen, the smell of frying eggs fills the air. Butter pops softly in a pan. Mrs. Caldwell hums, a low, tuneless sound that seems to belong to the house itself. "Good morning," she says, turning with a smile that is already familiar. "Good morning." Anna nods, unsure how to answer. Breakfast is laid out. Eggs, bacon, toast, jam in small glass jars that catch the light. Greta's eyes flick from one item to the next, as if memorizing evidence. They eat carefully at first, waiting for the trick. None comes. Afterward, work begins. The garden stretches behind the house, rows of vegetables green and heavy with life. Tomatoes burst under Anna's fingers, juice running sticky down her wrists. The soil is dark, rich, alive. Nothing like the exhausted earth she remembers from home. As she works, she notices something else. No one watches her constantly. Mr. Caldwell checks fences. Mrs. Caldwell moves between house and yard. The dog sleeps, shifts, sleeps again. Freedom hums softly at the edges of the day. At noon, Mrs. Caldwell brings lemonade, cold, sweet. Anna's teeth ache as she drinks. "Thank you," she says automatically, the English words stiff on her tongue. Mrs. Caldwell pauses, studying her. "You're welcome." "Not you're allowed." "Not remember your place. You're welcome." In the afternoon, a letter arrives. The postman hands it to Anna without ceremony, as if this is the most ordinary thing in the world. Her name is written carefully, the letters cramped. Germany. Her fingers tremble as she opens it. The paper smells faintly of smoke. "My dear Anna, the city is quieter now, not because there is peace, but because there is nothing left to break." She reads slowly, each word carving into her. "We eat soup made from bones. Lot grows thinner. Do not worry for us. Do not worry." Her vision blurs. She folds the letter with care, tucking it into her diary. Guilt rises sharp and sudden, souring the sweetness of lemonade still on her tongue. That night she cannot finish her dinner. Mrs. Caldwell notices, says nothing. Later, Anna sits on the porch steps, watching the sky darken into a bruised purple. Fireflies blink on and off like hesitant thoughts. Greta joins her, knees drawn up. "I feel sick," she says quietly. "From the food, no." Greta swallows from us. Anna understands. Days pass, patterns form, they work, they eat, they sleep, and with each day, small truths accumulate like grains of sand. The pantry is full. The radio plays music, not speeches. The children from the neighboring ranch laugh without flinching at sudden sounds. Once Anna drops a plate. It shatters loudly against the floor. She freezes, heart racing, waiting for punishment. Mrs. Caldwell kneels to help pick up the pieces. Careful, she says, you'll cut yourself. That night Anna writes, the punishment never comes, that is the punishment. The contrast gnaws at her. Every kindness is a blade slicing away certainty. She dreams of home more often now, of her mother stirring thin soup, of neighbors trading wedding rings for bread. One afternoon, Mrs. Caldwell asks her to help bake. They stand side by side, hands dusted with flour. Anna kneads dough, the motion rhythmic, almost meditative. The smell of yeast fills the kitchen. My grandmother taught me, Mrs. Caldwell says, during the last war. Anna looks up sharply. You were in a war. Everyone is in some way. Mrs. Caldwell replies simply. The bread rises. So does something else. An ache Anna cannot name. She begins to notice her own reflection changing. Her cheeks fill out slightly. Her eyes lose some of their constant alarm. This, too, brings shame. In her diary, the entries grow more frantic. How can I eat when they starve? How can I sleep when they hide in cellars? How can the enemy be kind? The greatest revelation comes quietly. One evening, as they sit listening to the radio, a news report mentions Germany. The tone is factual. Detached, no hatred, no gloating. Anna waits for celebration, for satisfaction. None comes. Mr. Caldwell switches off the radio. That's enough for tonight. Enough, as if sorrow has a limit. Anna realizes then that America is not trying to break her body. It is breaking something else, the story she has lived inside, and she does not know who she will be when it finally collapses. Who am I becoming? The letter arrives on a Thursday. Anna knows the day because Mrs. Caldwell bakes bread on Thursdays, the scent of yeast and heat sinking into the walls, clinging to everything. Memory will fuse them forever, this letter and this smell. She reads it alone, sitting on the edge of the bed, the quilt pulled at her feet. Anna, we heard you are in America. Some say they treat you well. Do not believe this. Kindness is a weapon. The handwriting is unfamiliar. A neighbor, perhaps, someone who survived long enough to warn. Those who return changed are no longer trusted. Anna's fingers cramp around the paper. No longer trusted. The words echo. That night, she cannot eat at all. Greta notices. You're disappearing again. She says softly. Anna snaps, sharper than intended. Maybe I should. Silence stretches between them, heavy and brittle. Later, Anna wanders the ranch alone, dusk settling over the fields. The sky bleeds orange, then purple. The windmill creaks its slow, patient circle. She presses her palm against the wooden fence. Not a barrier, just a guide. The wood is warm from the sun. She thinks of fences that bite. Kindness is a weapon. Is it? She remembers the soap, the bread, the way Mrs. Caldwell says her name without bitterness. The war inside her has no clear sides anymore. At night, dreams turn sharp. She dreams she is back in Germany, walking through streets that now look like the ranch, whole, bright, impossible. People stare at her, whispering, American, traitor. She wakes with her heart pounding, shame slicking her skin. In her diary, she writes, I am afraid they will see my hands and know they have been washed. Work becomes refuge. She throws herself into chores, mending fences, scrubbing floors already clean, feeding animals long after they are full. Mrs. Caldwell watches with concern but says nothing. One afternoon, while hanging laundry, Anna notices the softness of the fabric, the abundance of cloth. She remembers dresses patched and repatched until the original fabric disappeared entirely. Her throat tightens. Mr. Caldwell approaches, slow, deliberate. You ever ridden a horse? Anna shakes her head. He hesitates, then nods toward the pasture. Might do you good. The horse is calm, patient. Its heat seeps through her legs as she sits awkwardly in the saddle. When it moves, her breath catches, not in fear, but in something dangerously close to joy. She laughs. The sound startles her as much as it does the horse. That night, guilt crashes over her like cold water. How dare she laugh? Another letter arrives, this one from her mother. The paper is thin, the words faint. Lot is sick. We do what we can. The city is gone, Anna. I dream of bread. Anna presses the letter to her chest, the ache immediate and unbearable. She eats bread that night anyway. Each bite tastes like betrayal. She begins to avoid mirrors. Her body is changing. stronger, steadier. Her eyes no longer flinch at every sound. She speaks English now in full sentences, the words slipping into her mouth with ease. This, too, feels like treason. Greta confesses one evening, voice shaking. Sometimes I forget the words in German. Anna says nothing. They sit together in the dark, listening to the crickets argue with the night. The psychological war is quiet, relentless. No blows, no bars, just the steady erosion of who they were told to be. Anna realizes the truth slowly, painfully. Cruelty would have been easier. Cruelty would have confirmed everything. Instead, decency dismantles her piece by piece. She writes, "If the enemy is human, what does that make me?" The question has no answer that lets her sleep. One evening, Mrs. Caldwell hands her a photograph. "This is my brother," she says. "He died in France." Anna's breath catches. "I'm sorry," she whispers. Mrs. Caldwell nods. "So am I." No blame, no accusation, just grief shared across a kitchen table. Anna understands then, this kindness is not forgiveness. It is something more dangerous. Recognition. The War Department will not like this, she thinks suddenly, sharply, because this kind of war leaves no clean survivors. What we carry home. The announcement comes without ceremony. A car pulls up in a cloud of dust just after breakfast. The bread is still warm, steam ghosting upward as Mrs. Caldwell slices it. Anna smells yeast and salt and something like goodbye before the words are even spoken. The man from the War Department wears a crisp uniform, edges sharp, expression carefully neutral. He removes his hat indoors. That at least is polite. The program is ending, he says. Arrangements are being made. Arrangements return. The words hover in the air like ash. Greta's hands begin to shake. She grips the edge of the table, knuckles white. Anna feels nothing at first, then everything. That night, she walks the ranch one last time. She touches the fence posts, the barn door, the smooth, worn step of the porch. She memorizes the sound of the wind, the smell of earth, the way the sky seems too large for one life. Mrs. Caldwell finds her there. "You'll be all right," she says, though her voice wavers. Anna nods, unable to trust her own words. In her room, she packs slowly. There is not much to take: the diary, the letters, the soap worn now, edges softened by use. She hesitates, then places the soap carefully into her bag. On the final morning, Mrs. Caldwell presses something into her hand, a loaf of bread wrapped in cloth. "For the road," she says. Anna swallows hard. "Thank you for everything." Mrs. Caldwell pulls her into an embrace, brief, fierce. Anna stiffens, then melts into it, the warmth overwhelming. Outside, the truck waits. As it pulls away, Anna looks back. The house grows smaller, then disappears into the vastness. On the journey back, the women are quieter than before. No rumors now, only the weight of memory. The ship carries them east. The ocean looks the same, but Anna is not. She writes one final entry as land approaches. "I learned the enemy has a kitchen and grief. And bread." Germany greets them with grey. The air smells of damp stone and loss. Faces are thinner, eyes sharper, suspicious. At the processing center, questions are asked. "Were you treated well?" Anna pauses. Truth balances on a knife's edge. "Yes," she says finally. The word feels dangerous. At home, what remains of it? She finds her mother older, smaller. Lot is gone. Anna does not ask where. She bakes bread with the knowledge she carried back, kneading hope and grief into the dough. Neighbors watch, some accept slices, others turn away. Whispers follow her, Americanized, soft. She does not argue. At night, she opens her diary. The pages smell faintly of soap. She reads the question she once wrote: "Who am I becoming?" Now she knows. She is someone who has seen the lie undone not by bombs, but by bread. She is someone who understands that cruelty is loud, but kindness endures. The war took much from her, but it did not take the truth. And that truth, heavy, quiet, impossible to forget, is what she carries home.